Racist cop shaved a black boy's head in court, then started crying when his father arrives. The electric hum of tension pulsed through the courtroom like a coiled snake ready to strike. Seated on the witness bench was 13-year-old Jaden Carter, his legs barely touching the floor, his wide brown eyes flickering between fear and defiance. His school uniform, wrinkled and stained from being shoved into the dirt by officers, clung to his thin frame. Behind him, rows of faces whispered and judged, some with pity, some with disgust. At the prosecution table stood Officer Brent Malloy, a veteran cop with salt and pepper hair and a jaw clenched so tight it looked carved from concrete. His eyes never left the boy, not with concern, but with something colder, something darker. Judge Harris, a stoic man with deep lines etched into his face, tapped his gavel. This hearing is now in session regarding the arrest and alleged misconduct involving minor Jaden Carter. But what happened next shattered every rule of procedure. Malloy stepped forward without being called. "Your Honor," he barked, pulling a pair of surgical gloves from his pocket. "I'd like to demonstrate the level of disrespect this boy showed officers on that day." "What the hell is he doing?" Jaden's court-appointed lawyer, a fresh-out-of-law school idealist named Cooper, whispered under his breath, rising to object. But before he could speak, Malloy was already moving. He pulled a pair of clippers from a bag he'd smuggled through security and stormed toward Jaden. Jaden's eyes went wide. "No. Please, what are you?" The buzz of the clippers roared like a chainsaw as Malloy grabbed the boy by the head and began shaving his hair, ripping through tight curls with ruthless efficiency. Screams erupted in the courtroom. "Stop!" Cooper shouted, lunging forward, but two bailiffs held him back. "Judge Harris, do something." Even the judge stood frozen, his mouth agape. "Officer Malloy, this is outrageous. This is—" Malloy didn't hear him, or he didn't care. His voice boomed over the chaos. "You think you're better than the law, boy? Maybe without this mop on your head you'll learn respect." Tears streamed down Jaden's cheeks as clumps of his hair fell to the wooden floor. He didn't fight. He didn't scream. He just sat there, staring into the void, his fists clenched so tight his knuckles bled. And then the courtroom doors burst open. The silence that followed was sudden and suffocating. A single figure strode into the room. A man in a charcoal suit, his stride calm but cold, his face unreadable. His presence carried the weight of 1,000 storms. Every camera turned. Every eye followed. It was Colonel Nathaniel Carter, Jaden's father, recently returned from a classified overseas operation, decorated, feared, known by Pentagon officials simply as Shadow 6. No one had expected him. Word was he was deployed for 6 more months. Malloy froze, the clippers still buzzing in his shaking hand. His face, so smug a moment before, now drained of all color. We didn't know." "You didn't ask," Nathaniel said, his voice low and cutting, like a knife through silk. He walked straight to his son, kneeling before him. Gently, he turned Jaden's face toward him and touched the boy's bald scalp with trembling fingers. "I'm here, son," he whispered. "You did nothing wrong." Jaden broke down, throwing his arms around his father's neck. Then Nathaniel stood, turned, and looked Malloy dead in the eye. "What did you do?" Malloy stammered, suddenly shrinking in front of the man whose name once cleared entire combat zones. I was trying to make a point. He was resisting arrest. You shaved my son's head. In a courtroom, you humiliated a child, on camera, in front of the country." Nathaniel stepped forward. Malloy backed up instinctively. "I just got off the phone with the Pentagon," Nathaniel continued. "You didn't just touch my son. You touched the son of a man who trained half of Homeland Security's response teams. And now—" He pulled a file from his coat and handed it to Judge Harris. The judge flipped it open, eyes scanning. Internal Affairs, Department of Justice, Civil Rights Commission, a sealed indictment, against Officer Brent Malloy. 8 separate use-of-force complaints, 5 suppressed body cam footages, and this, he pointed to a page, shows the footage that wasn't wiped this time. From the hallway camera, shows my son being slammed into a locker, shows Malloy planting a vape pen in his pocket. The courtroom gasped. Malloy's knees buckled. "I didn't mean to." "You meant every second, officer," Nathaniel said. "And now you'll answer for all of them." "Bailiffs," Judge Harris ordered, slamming his gavel, his voice trembling with fury. "Arrest this man." Malloy was seized by the same hands that once held Cooper back. As they dragged him out, he burst into tears. "I'm sorry. I didn't know, please. Don't let him ruin me." Nathaniel didn't flinch. "You ruined yourself." The cameras caught it all. The fall of a racist cop. The rise of a broken boy's father. In the weeks that followed, Jaden's story went viral. Protesters filled the streets, demanding reform. Malloy's badge was stripped. Several corrupt officers connected to his past were exposed. A federal investigation into court security protocols and racial profiling was launched. But the most important moment came 2 weeks later when Jaden stood at the Lincoln Memorial beside his father, delivering a short but powerful speech. "I'm not ashamed of what happened to me anymore, because my dad showed me something, that even when the system fails you, justice can still find its way back. And when it does, it's stronger than fear." He didn't cry. He didn't shake. He stood tall, because the world had finally seen him, not as a suspect, but as a son. Disclaimer: this story is a fictional dramatization created for entertainment purposes only.